Welcome to Today in Prophecy, daily news in 15 minutes or less, news from the perspective of the Bible. Well, Sweden says people are starting to say, we're not so sure about this digital payment kind of stuff. We want to go back to cash. We're going to look at that in a minute. Along with what the Houthis have to say, we are at war with the U.S. But let's start here. It appears that Muslims are protesting at the White House, at least they were last night or early this morning. Check this out. This is from one of our viewers up in Canada. Donna, thank you for sending this in. She writes, you should have heard this video. It wasn't the typical Muslim call to prayer like many of us have heard many times. And then she goes on and says, it was strange, slow, low, methodical tone, as though the caller of the Allah Akbar call to prayer person was slowly doing on loudspeakers. It made me feel sick. I don't think any other religion could just set up shop outside the White House and perform their religious ritual like that. Who do they think they are anyway? Trump better do something about this. Don't prayer vigils with loads of people require a permit, and went on to say several other things. This person writes, guess where this video was taken a few hours ago? Gaza, no. Lebanon, no. Syria, no. It was taken in front of the White House in Washington, D.C. Folks, we're looking at these dynamics that are taking place, and we see what's going on in Europe. I know we have many viewers from over in Europe that keep sending me notes on the things that are happening there. You look at this going on, these protests against Trump, and here it is. These Muslim call to prayer. Wouldn't surprise me if AOC and Ilhan Omar and the rest of them have something to do with this. Nevertheless, what's Trump going to do about it as we see the pressure that is being put on Hamas and on Iran, on the Houthis, and on down the list from Trump and also from Israel, while at the same time the European leaders are wanting Trump to pretty much back off of everything. Very interesting times that we live in. Well, let's move on from there. Check this out. Back to cash. Life without money in your pocket is not the utopia that Sweden had hoped for. Look at that. Here it says, Nordic countries were early adopters of digital payments. Now electronic banking is seen as a potential threat to national security. In 2018, a former deputy governor of Sweden's central bank predicted that by 2025, the country would probably be cashless. 7 years on, that prediction has turned out to be pretty much true. Just 1 in 10 purchases are made with cash. However, people aren't liking this as much as they thought they were going to. Again, it's a threat to national security, they're saying. And I say, well, of course it is. And this is one of the things that many have been warning about when it comes to everything going digital. You no longer have privacy. Also saying it's not quite the utopia that they were hoping it was going to be. Listen, as we watch things develop, going towards the kingdom that the Bible describes in the book of Revelation, the kingdom of Antichrist, this kingdom of the beast, this global system that is going to come, there's going to be an awful lot of resistance to this new world order that is being built. It was H.G. Wells, the one who hated God and wanted this utopian or dystopian world with this their world government leading and wanting all the elite people to be at the top and everybody else just to be servants. It was H.G. Wells who said, when the New World Order comes about, there will be many people that will die protesting against it. Listen, people are looking at this going, something is wrong. We don't want to give up our freedoms. And we're realizing with everything going digital, there's going to be a problem. Not the utopia they wanted. Think of this. It was historian Bill Federer noted in his book on socialism. He wrote, after Columbus discovered the New World Order, there was a fascination among European scholars of setting up ideal societies. One such scholar was Sir Thomas More. And in the year 1516, so that's 500 years ago, he wrote a book describing a fictional island of utopia. His book was intended to be political satire, as the word utopia in Greek means nowhere. And then he said one of the characters in the dialogue of the book was named Raphael Hathaladius, whose last name in Greek means peddler of nonsense. So when you look at this and you go, hey, when you see these people trying to set up their utopian world, and they don't want you to be a part of it because you believe that the Bible is true, you're looking, going, you're awake. You're not woke. You're awake. Interesting. I find that Satan's a copycat. He doesn't want people to be awake. He wants them to be woke. He doesn't want them to be awake to the truth. He wants them to be woke to his lies. And if you're awake to the truth, they don't want you part of their kingdom. But remember that you don't want to be part of their kingdom. As I mentioned, the word utopia means nowhere. And one of the main characters, his name meant peddler of nonsense. So these people, they're peddlers of nonsense, and their kingdom, their utopian kingdom, is going to go nowhere. And listen, that was written 500 years ago. By the way, one more thing about this kingdom, it was very interesting. The idea was that everybody under this kingdom would have some kind of medical care. Kind of nonsense. And you start looking at the whole thing, think of what was medical care like 500 years ago. I don't know. But the whole thing, this utopian kingdom, it's going nowhere, and they're a bunch of peddlers of nonsense. Moving on from there, All Israel News reports the United States announces Joint Task Force October 7 will hunt and prosecute Hamas leaders and supporters. The United States Justice Department, under Attorney General Pam Bondi and the FBI, led by Director Kash Patel, on Monday announced the official creation of a task force to investigate Hamas' first October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. They will also investigate potential civil rights violations and acts of anti-Semitism by those supporting the group in the United States, while the administration of former President Joe Biden announced charges against former Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar and several other senior Hamas leaders last September. The new task force will pursue charges against other Hamas leaders responsible for the attacks, assist victims and hostage families, and investigate a U.S.-based Hamas supporters, U.S.-based Hamas supporters and funders. The previous report in the Jerusalem Post about the Joint Task Force October 7 said that the task force will specifically seek the arrest and extradition of senior Hamas officials Ali Baraka and Khalid Mashael. It's very interesting. What a different world we live in right now as opposed to the world of the Joe Biden administration. Trump has been having people who are criminals here and they are illegal here. He's having them arrested, taken to a notorious prison in El Salvador, not to Venezuela, where it's known that they'll just be released from Venezuela. But the U.S. has a good relationship with El Salvador, and El Salvador said, we will take all of these prisoners that are there illegally. The ones that are coming from South America, we'll take all of those. Trump is dealing with that, getting out some really bad people, MS-13 gang members, and on down the list, the Venezuelan gang members, getting rid of them. These people are murderers, they're rapists, they're child traffickers, sex traffickers. And then we see these things going on with Hamas and Hamas supporters and the radical elements of Islam, and the story that I opened up with. You have this happening at the White House itself. And you look, you go, okay, something needs to be done about all of this. Well, Trump has been doing something about all of this, which has caused a problem for the Houthis. So Ynet News reports Houthi official says Yemen is at war with the U.S. Escalation is likely. Now listen to this. Houthi Foreign Minister Jamal Amir warns Gulf states to remain neutral as tensions rise. Despite U.S. airstrikes across Yemen, Amir vows continued attacks on Israeli-linked ships and insists Iran not dictating Houthi actions. All right. Attacks on Israeli-linked ships, so I'm thinking any ship that's going in there that isn't supportive of what Iran is doing is going to be attacked. From what I understand, there's been over 100 attacks on U.S. ships since the Joe Biden administration, and Biden didn't do anything about it. Trump says, no, we're not putting up with this anymore. And it's not just U.S. ships, obviously Israeli ships too, but other allied vessels that are in there from nations that are allies with the United States. And you're looking at this going, this is absurd. We know what you're doing. You're evil. You want to destroy the shipping lines. You want to destroy the shipping lines, Suez Canal. You also want to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Who is really behind it? Listen, this is a talking point delivered from Iran to the Houthis, where this foreign minister of the Houthis insists Iran not dictating Houthi actions. Why do you think he said that? Because he was told to say that from Iran. But the reality of it is the Trump administration with Pete Hegseth is doing something about this. Trump administration is supporting Israel to deal with the Hamas issue, and the Trump administration has threatened Iran, you are in trouble, and we're going to deal with that problem there. In fact, they dealt with that a lot yesterday with Bill Salas in the live stream that we did. But again, the Houthi official says Yemen is at war with the U.S. Escalation is likely. I got to look at that and say, do they really think they're going to win a war with the U.S.? The U.S. is just absolutely demolishing the Houthis, and Israel is just going to continue to go forward against Hamas in Gaza. And let me tell you, Israel's going to come out victorious. Israel's pushing to a time of peace and safety, Ezekiel 38, also Daniel chapter 9, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. They are pushing there, but they keep having victory after victory after victory. It's only a matter of time where Israel's going to say, we finally are dwelling in peace. That's the time when Israel's going to start having a future problem in the tribulation period. But right now, no matter what is coming against Israel, God is with Israel. Behold, the keeper of Israel, he never slumbers nor sleeps. Israel 365 News reports the road to normalization with the Arab world goes through Iran. The second Trump administration has met with responses varying from enthusiasm to anxiety, depending on who you ask. In Israel, there is concern among some that issues important to Jerusalem might be less so to Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he is focused on the America first and ending wars. So there are people in Israel that are going, okay, what's going to happen here? What's the U.S. going to do with Iran? And we also know the fears, the concerns that Saudi Arabia has, obviously, with Iran. Jordan doesn't want Iran to be launching any nukes. So listen, Jordan and Saudi Arabia, they both need a strong Israel. They might not admit it publicly. And they also need a U.S. that's going to back Israel and stand with Israel and take on the problem of Iran. Listen, Iran is this problem, threatening everybody that is over there in that region. And you look at what's going on there, is it just a matter of time? I would say this, it is just a matter of time before the problem with Iran is dealt with and eliminated. Moving on from their last story, this is from Fox Business. SpaceX Dragon capsule sticks splashdown landing as NASA astronauts return home after months stuck in space. I find this interesting. SpaceX is helping out NASA. Listen, NASA was pretty much going nowhere, and then Elon Musk comes around, and we start seeing this in private industry. Private industry is developing things beyond what the government agencies can do, beyond what government-funded agencies can do. Private industry is coming around like Musk is with X, or SpaceX, excuse me. And then we also see it with Starlink. This is private industry that has developed a system to blanket the world with the internet. And we see this with just coming out of the whole tech industry. It isn't the government. The government may be part of the mouth behind it that's trying to manipulate things for their own propaganda. We've seen that over the last previous administration. But nevertheless, we see what's happening with private industry driving these things. These billionaires they're developing things, and it's SpaceX that seems to come to the rescue of NASA. Listen, that's all the time we have for today. Join me live tomorrow for You Can't Make This Up, 2 o'clock Pacific time. Looking forward to seeing you guys live.